Today we're going to read Moon. Spring that year was long and slow and dry and warm. Moon and I had little trouble finding food. We were smarter now. Instead of avoiding towns, we sought them out. But we were careful to linger mostly at the edges and not stay too long. Whenever we arrived at a new town, we explored it carefully. We studied its rhythms and looked for the pet stores and watched to see if anyone might be feeding stray dogs. We mostly ate we ate mostly in the darkness, and we paid attention if we saw a van that was driving slowly. We stayed in each town for only a few days, then we lived in the woods for a time, keeping our hunting skills sharp, and then we moved on to another town. In one town, we slept behind a woodpile at a house where two women and two little girls lived. The women caught sight of us and set out dishes of food and water and seemed very kind. Outside another town, we discovered a small farm with a barn that housed a donkey named Tico and a cow named Bluebell. We slept in an empty stall for 3 nights, drinking water from a large tub and dining on birdseed, grain, and little red squirrels. Then we moved on. As the moon changed from the tiny curl of a cat's claw to a half-closed eye, the days grew longer and even warmer. My friend and I slept in towns, on farms, and once in an open field where the nighttime sounds reminded me of an evening at the Marians when I had watched mine trot through their yard. One day, one of the longest of the year, when the sun rose early and set late, Moon and I left a town called Republic. We hadn't liked that town. As soon as we'd arrived, we'd seen a man kick a dog that was tied up in the yard on a very short chain. Later, after we had discovered a feed store in town, we were waiting in some bushes for the store to close when a group of boys and girls who were not little but were not grown-ups yet either discovered our hiding place and threw rocks at us. One rock with a sharp point on it hit me behind my ear, and a large one landed square on Moon's back. We were on our way out of Republic, my head bleeding slightly, when we came upon a grocery store where a man was putting some cheese and stale bread and ends of sausages in a bowl by the back door. He saw us as we were running away, paused, then added more sausages to the bowl before he went inside. So Moon and I waited until dark and ate our supper at the store. Then we spent the night at an abandoned gas station. But the next morning we left Republic behind us. We had wakened early, checked the bowl at the grocery store, found it still lit clean from the night before, and set out. Very quickly we reached some woods. We trotted through them, our stomachs empty, but not grumbling too loudly. We had just passed through a small clearing when we came to a sleepy mountain road and spotted two chipmunks perched on a fallen log on the other side. Moon sprinted across the road, and I was after her in a flash. We were so intent on surprising the chipmunks that neither of us heard the truck that came thundering around a bend in the road. Not until it was almost upon us. I looked up in time to see the terrible blue thing, like an enormous dog with big yellow eyes and a row of gleaming teeth, bearing down on us. I heard the person scream, and the truck made a loud squeal, and I jumped backward. Moon had already reached the middle of the road, though, and the truck hit her at high speed and sent her flying. It only clipped me, but it clipped the shoulder that had been injured when George had thrown Bone and me away, and I couldn't move, so I lay at the edge of the woods. I yelped for Moon, but I didn't hear any sound from her. The truck flew past, still squealing, and its tires locked in place as it skidded down the road, leaving long marks that swerved from side to side and finally ended as the truck came to an abrupt stop. I heard more screams, and then the screams became voices, but I couldn't see who was speaking. A dog! You hit a dog! No, two. I think there were two. They came out of nowhere. It wasn't your fault. They just ran right in front of me. Is everyone okay? I'm okay. I'm okay. Is the truck okay? I think so. A little silence followed. I lifted my head to see where Moon was. She had landed by the log. The chipmunks had disappeared, of course, and she lay still. I dropped my head back to the ground. I heard footsteps running in the road then, and soon I could see several pairs of legs. 2 feet with sneakers on them stopped next to me. A girl who was about the age of Matthias Marian's brother leaned over and peered into my face. She put out a hand and rested it on my back for a moment. This one's alive. I think it's going to be okay, she said. I watched some other sneakers cross the road. A woman stooped down beside Moon. She ran her hand down Moon's back, gently, rolled her over gently. This one's dead, I'm afraid, but let's take both of them to the vet. I'll bring the truck back here, said the man, and a third pair of sneakers walked down the road toward the truck. The girl sat next to me at the edge of the woods and put her arms around me. Be careful, the woman called to her. I don't want you touching a strange dog. Well, it's not bleeding or anything, the girl replied. I tried to figure out how many people had been in the truck. There was this girl, and the woman who was sitting with Moon, and the man who had gone for the truck. And now I realized there was a boy too. He crossed the room and knelt beside Moon and the woman. I wanted to look at Moon again, but my head had grown very heavy, and as the girl stroked my back, I fell asleep. I woke up when I felt a pair of strong arms lift me from the ground. The arms belonged to the man, and he set me carefully in the back of the truck. A moment later, he laid Moon next to me, and I could tell that she was indeed dead. I had seen many dead things in my life, and now